Bandra boy. So it's all about ramblings of a Bandra boy.
I was here for a fabulous literature festival which went off beautifully, where I saw some fabulous people and I also read some fabulous uh, passages from a book written by Mr. Joy Roy, and that happened to be discussion happened to be moderated also beautifully by a woman called Vinta Nanda, and it was all in all a very, very invigorating experience, the highlight of which was the release of a book by Pratibha Sharma called Urban Naxal BV. It's a book of Hindi poetry, which is a must read and a must buy.
The first day was the formal inauguration of my audiobook. The book got published 2 years ago. It's a book called Mentor Morphosis on mentoring. The second day, it was a one on one fireside chat on the changing landscape of Indian cinema and theatre. And the third was idea to impact creative expression and the business of culture.
So we've had two wonderful events uh, under the Puri Foundation. One was reading of Joy Roy's book from Ramblings, Denzel and myself. And this is the first time Ishaan read a piece on his father.
So I read a piece on my father. It's called Om Shanti Om, and this was my first time reading on a public platform. So the chapter was on how the author Joy Bimal Roy met my dad while he was working as an assistant on Sham Benegal's various projects, various films and various projects. So that's about his experience with my dad. It was very unnerving at first because it's on my dad, and I got very emotional reading the piece while I was rehearsing it, and luckily I did not choke up while I'm actually reading it on stage. But
Joy had some interesting questions for Vinta Nanda of the Daily Eye, and Vinta also. Basically, these two guys were having a blast.
The two of us did some tamasha there together. We were going crazy. I, our interview was like quite quite a riot, no? Well, to begin with, I was I was afraid that I was going to fall asleep.
There was, I kept hearing as soon as I was boarded the flight, there was a lady called Vinta Nanda who said, "We have to have lunch at Nanking, at Nanking, at Nanking," and Nanking finally came to fruition this afternoon, where there was a wonderful Chinese, Calcutta Chinese meal.
So interestingly, of course, all those conversations that we have, those panel discussions we have, they're always great fun. More importantly, you meet people from literally different parts of the fraternity, literature, cinema. So it's always very enlightening, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, meeting people. So it's so yeah, that's always great fun.
But I've always wanted to make a difference to people's lives, and I'm beginning to think that people who read the book um, do enjoy it. And I think that for me is the biggest reward. It's not the question of how many books I've sold.
But the highlight of the evening was the launch of Pratibha Suman Sharma's book, Urban Naxal BV. It's a book of poetry, and she's written some wonderful poems which will blow your mind.
I grew up here, did my schooling here, finished high school, then moved on to the rest of the country for my further education. Yeah, so fond memories because those were my formative years. So yeah, it's nostalgia.
We have a play for children which is called Peekaboo, which had shows in Bombay, both at the NCP and Prithvi. We're taking that play to Nashik now next week. Following that, I'm doing two short plays, Harold Pinter's The Dumb Waiter and Anton Chekhov's The Bear. So a lot of excitement in that sense.
Oh, the festival was one of the finest, most well organized festivals I have been to. Really, hats off to them. I think they're in the sixth year or seventh year, and now they've almost perfected it. It was really well organized.
I would say thank you. It was for us. I have never been to Nagpur. I was amazed at the kind of organizational skills that these people have, the warmth, and also the audiences. There were young people, so many people who were. I was surprised. It came as a huge surprise for me.
So that's what I was doing here in this wonderful city called Nagpur.